Hello everybody. In June this year, the UK government published its interim response to previous consultations concerning the future of the minimum energy efficiency standards, MEES, for the commercial rented sector. Although it's not legislation, the response marks a significant shift from the previous proposal that all commercial properties would need to achieve an energy performance certificate rating of B by 2030, and indeed from the proposal of an interim 2027 EPC C milestone. The key 2 points are as follows. Number one, the EPC B requirement will apply only to larger commercial buildings. The government now proposes that from 2031, privately rented commercial buildings with a floor area exceeding 1,000 square metres must achieve an EPC B where this is cost effective. Now, this represents a substantial narrowing of the earlier proposals, which envisaged EPC B applying across the commercial rented sector. Second point, to reduce the regulatory burden on smaller ownerships, smaller buildings remain at EPC E. Commercial buildings below 1,000 square metres will continue to be subject to the minimum EPC E standard. And importantly, there is no current fixed timetable for requiring those smaller buildings to improve beyond EPC E. Now, existing MEES rules remain unchanged. Nothing changes immediately. The present regime continues to apply. Since April 2023, it has been unlawful to continue letting most commercial premises with an EPC rating of F or G unless a valid exemption has been registered. An exemption includes such as that the property is still below EPC after improvements have been made up to a cost cap, £3,500 inclusive of VAT. And that existing exemptions regime remains in place. Now, the government has retained the principle that landlords should only be required to undertake improvements where they are cost effective. The precise cost effectiveness test has not yet been settled and will be dealt with in forthcoming legislation and guidance. Now, further legislation is still required. The June announcement is itself not a change in law. The government intends to publish a full response to the earlier consultations, to introduce secondary legislation, and to issue updated guidance before the new requirements take effect. The detailed implementation mechanism and transitional arrangements are therefore still to come. So, practical implications for commercial property owners. For landlords and investors, large logistics, industrial and office buildings over 1,000 square metres should continue planning for an EPC B standard by 2031. Smaller retail units, offices and mixed-use premises are no longer facing an automatic EPC B deadline and remain compliant at EPC E. Asset managers should continue reviewing EPC portfolios as future tightening for smaller buildings has not been ruled out. Caution should be taken on relying on the EPC requirement for the long term as the overall trend towards net zero continues. But certainly the June 2026 update significantly reduces the immediate compliance burden for much of the commercial property market, while maintaining the government's longer term objective of improving the energy performance of larger rented buildings. I'll see you all again soon.